The Steam Deck 2? Where are we having that conversation? Yeah, we're having that conversation. We're going to talk about the rumors of that and how I feel and think about it overall in this video. So let's get into it.
This wasn't written with your comfort in mind. Nah. Made my decision, wasn't tough to decide. Nah. Me and my boys, we get it done every time. Gotta earn it, you can't just jump in the line. You'll get rushed to the side. I top my division, I've been building since I started. In the parking lot, I parked it. I came in while picking targets. My career cannot be tarnished. I'm a champion regardless. Celebrate, but this a different kind of lucha party. We are not alike.
Okay, so this is a rumor. So take this rumor with a grain of salt. It's something that's out there because a lot of people are talking about it. And honestly, it makes sense because to think that there's not a Steam Deck 2 in the works right now is kind of foolish. If you're into like tech or if you know anything about technology, when a product releases, they're already working on the successor. There's already R&D for that. So keep that in mind, you know, when we look at the possibility of this Steam Deck 2. So we're going to go ahead and check out this article from TechSpot. But before we do all that, make sure you like the video if you enjoy the content I put out and sub to the channel. That way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. Outside of that, if you want to support the content we do, we got channel memberships and we have Patreon. So patreon.com/MikhailCasanova. So go check that out as well. But all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this article. I'll leave a link to the article down in the description below. But basically it says AMD possibly developing Steam Deck 2 APU with Zen 4 and RDNA 3. So it's a smaller variant of the Phoenix Point APU. So yeah, so the rumor mill, it says, I'm just going to read off this article to you. It says, rumor mill, Valve already confirmed it's laying the groundwork for Steam Deck successor. Every company is already working on the successor. A new report says AMD is working on an APU with its latest architecture that could power the next version of Valve's handheld, and it sounds like a significant upgrade. Sources within AMD have told Moore's Law is Dead, which is a YouTube channel, about a new mobile APU the company is developing, calling it a successor to Van Gogh, which powers the Steam Deck. Valve previously said its customers have responded favorably to its handheld's most expensive variant. It may want a higher end model, so this doesn't sound too far-fetched, which means potentially, a pro version or one that has, beyond what the 512 has. The new chip is supposedly a smaller take on AMD's Phoenix Point APU, which combines the company's upcoming Zen 4 CPU architecture and RDNA 3 GPU architecture. The SoC, supposedly codenamed Lil Phoenix, has the same number of processor cores, threads, and computer units as Van Gogh. Much of the performance improvement will come from Zen 4's and RDNA 3's efficiency gains over Van Gogh's Zen 2 RDNA 2 hardware. Lil Phoenix's die is smaller than Van Gogh's, but its CPU may boast boost to 4 gigahertz as opposed to the current model's 3.5 gigahertz. So this is kind of a chart with additional information, and it's just basically talking about the AMD Lil Phoenix leak as of June 2022. So it says the report also says the new hardware will feature a 128-bit LPDDR controller, but doesn't confirm whether Valve might stick with the Steam Deck's LPDDR5 RAM or upgrade to the LPDDR5X, which is on the way. One of the most important unknown elements is the TDP profile, as battery life is always a concern. So very much so. A lot of people really don't like the fact that the Steam Deck battery, it's not that long, but honestly, if you were to go back and look at, like, I know this is weird comparing the Switch to the Steam Deck, but if you look at the battery life of the original launch Switch before we got the V2 and then the OLED and even the Lite, that didn't last very long. That's why you had so many companies making like battery packs or battery cases for the Nintendo Switch when it came out, because if you played Breath of the Wild, you were getting like maybe an hour of battery life. So, or not really an hour, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe 3. but it wasn't that long. So, of course, they're going to have the next iteration is going to have a better battery life. It says a new Steam Deck based on Lil Phoenix could arrive late next year, but Moore's Law is dead. Speculates it could be 2024. The current Steam Deck's demand still outstrips supply, so Valve has little reason to replace it soon. Now, okay, here's my thoughts on that. Okay, so I already said, like, when it comes to like a new revision, of course they're already working on it. Of course it's already in the R&D. That's just how technology works. When something comes out, they're already working on the next iteration and the iteration after that, based off of whatever feedback they get from the current handheld that's out or the current device that's out. That's going to influence what they do with the next one. So in this case, you got to look at the fact that Steam Deck was announced last year. Pre-orders went up around July 16th of last year, 2021. And then a lot of us were able to, well, with some difficulties, pre-order. If, you wanted to get it this year, you pre-ordered it last year. And if you were in a certain time spot, that reflected what queue you were in. But also, as we're learning, as, the Steam Decks are rolling out, the model you picked kind of also had an influence as well. So people are still who pre-ordered last year are just now getting from February to now and all the way until like next year, that fulfillment of the Steam Deck is still a work in progress. So to think that they're going to drop a Steam Deck 2 like the end of next year when they haven't even been able to fulfill people getting a Steam Deck as it is. There's still people who haven't even gotten their email. They don't know when they're going to get it. Are they in Q2? Are they in Q3? Are they going to get it in Q4? Are they getting the beginning, middle, or end of next year? Like, there's still a lot up in the air. I do think that at a base minimum, we're probably going to get a Steam Deck, successor or Steam Deck 2 or whatever they want to call it. I would say late 2024 at the earliest. I want to say 2025. I'm more confident saying 2025 we will get one, because I just think they want to have this on the market so people can get it. And you don't want to do kind of like, the INEO. A lot of people compare Steam Decks and INEOs. Every time you turn around, INEO is making a brand new variation of their handheld gaming PC. So you don't, if you really look at how Steam Deck or Steam or Valve and INEO are operating, from a hardware perspective, both are operating at a loss from parts, to build these devices. Valve is able to sustain itself because if you buy a Steam Deck, you're still going to be buying games off of Steam and playing their games, so they make up for it. So it's the level of profit to loss is, the loss is very low and the profits medium to high. INEO, because they're constantly churning out new devices, they're not making money off of the hardware. They're not making a lot of money off this, really any money off the software, because it's Windows. So they can constantly churn out and churn out and churn out. Kind of like, think about Samsung or Motorola or any of the phone manufacturers that are constantly churning out, variant devices. That's kind of where they're making their money. And it's a quick return that they're trying to get, even though, yeah. So it's one of those things where Valve, they don't have a reason to cannibalize the Steam Deck right now. Why would they do that? Let it sit. I mean, with what's in it, yeah, it's a little outdated if you compare it to the INEO variants or, like Loki and such like that. But on the same token, they're going to make their money through the software, which it's kind of like the Xbox model or Microsoft's model with the Xbox. You don't even have to have an Xbox to play the Xbox games. you're buying the same thing with their Microsoft's other software. You don't have to have a Microsoft device to utilize Windows or Microsoft software like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all that, because you're buying the software. You're invested in the software ecosystem. So yeah, I see them, earliest late 2024 to 2025 for me, more likely. And if anything, I know there's been talks about, what people would like to see in like a Steam Deck Pro, or, a revised Steam Deck. A lot of people have said OLED screens. I wouldn't mind an OLED screen, but if we're already having battery life of what it is now, there's a reason they didn't put an OLED screen in it, because that OLED is going to burn bright. It could have burn in. So, RMAs could be way more frequent. And on top of that, that's going to eat into the battery life, because that's going to use extra juice to power that screen. But I wouldn't mind an OLED screen on it. I wouldn't mind it being a little less chunky, and just taking it apart. It's already fairly simple, but I would like it to be a little bit easier, and maybe even possibly have an additional slot to put another M.2 in, that way we can have access to that, and also, maybe 2 micro SD slots. I just like more, but that's my thoughts. As far as like a Steam Deck 2, or AMD, the Little Phoenix, this whole situation here, I see it. They've already confirmed, or it's alleged that they've confirmed that they're working on it. We know companies do this kind of stuff. They release something, they're working on the follow up to it. That's just how it works. But other than that, yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I want to know what you guys think. I want you to let me know, sound off, that you think we're going to get a Steam Deck 2 really soon. What do you think of this article? How do you feel? Have you gotten your Steam Deck yet? Whatever your thoughts are, let's go ahead and get the conversation going in the comment section below. And if you want to take the conversation further, we do have a Discord as well as a Guilded. And, if you want to talk Steam Deck, gaming, tech, news, whatever, hop into Discord, hop into Guilded. I'm more so in the Discord than the Guilded, but wherever you are, if you ping me, I'll be there. Just let's talk about it down below. And also, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy the Steam Deck tutorials, reviews for games, tech, and podcasts, and so much more, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. And if you want to support the content we do, we got channel memberships here on YouTube, as well as Patreon, patreon.com/MikhailCastnova. So go check that out as well. And outside of that, that's it. That's the video. I'm signing out. Hope y'all have a blessed and aloha rest of your day. Stay safe, be easy, be blessed. I'll see you around. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video. And if you found anything of importance or substance that you gained from watching this, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the content that you get from my channel, from podcasts, streams, reviews, impressions, reactions, and so much more. If you want to support what we do have channel memberships. We've got Patreon, we've got Subscribe Star, as well as coffee, which I would love to be drinking some coffee right now, which I am. That's some good coffee. But anyway, we got all of that, and we also have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so make sure you go check that out. And all that being said, I just hope to see you in the next video that I put out. So hey, see you around.